Hello everybody and welcome. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the ball winning midfielder role in Football Manager, and let's get started with an overview of the role. The ball winning midfielder can be used in a variety of formations, in either the center or defensive midfield areas. This is a player role that is relentless in the pursuit of the ball, and will follow it across all areas of the field. Which means the ball-winning midfielder is hyper-aggressive while defending, closing down the ball across multiple passing combinations. In possession, they're the opposite, acting as a more complementary role to your more attacking players. I love the ball-winning midfielder because they tell you exactly what they're going to do. They're a midfielder and they want to win the ball. And because of this focus on getting the ball back, their range when defending is more expansive compared with other midfield roles. So you'll see them patrol the entire field, going from sideline to sideline and even into the penalty box. As an example, the opponent is about to get the ball out on the wing, and their player here will make a run into the box. The ball-winning midfielder will track with the runner. And in this one, the opponent is on the counterattack, starting in their own half. The ball-winning midfielder will track with the ball carrier to the sideline in order to stop the counter. From open play, the ball-winning midfielder isn't an attacking threat like other midfielders, but they can still score from a distance from time to time. The ball-winning midfielder's desire to close down the ball is the best among player roles, but it can also get you into trouble. This is my player on the ball and we're attacking to our right. This is the ball-winning midfielder next to his midfield partner. When we lose the ball, we actually have the midfield covered. But the ball-winning midfielder is already on his way to get the ball back. The issue is that when this opponent gets the ball, he's going to pass it right into the vacated midfield. Our ball-winning midfielder has created space the opponent needs for the goal. With that caveat out of the way, let's talk about how this role is available on either a defend or support duty. They both will tackle harder, but the one on defend will shoot and dribble less, hold their position, and generally play with less risk. Which means the one on support is usually given more freedom of play in comparison. And with the defend and support duty, we're going to look at two different tactics on how I like to use each one. This is Queen's Park in the 2nd Division of Scotland. We use a 3-5-2 with the ball-winning midfielder as the lone defensive midfielder. The idea behind this tactic is to sacrifice more attacking roles to focus on defending. To start, the formation is a defensive formation because we have 8 outfield players behind the ball in their starting position. This tactic also doesn't have any playmakers, and instead accentuates that defensive formation by using complementary player roles, like the box-to-box midfielder, central midfielder on attack, and the pressing forward. All these roles work well with the ball-winning midfielder. Here's an example of how we defend. This is the opponent on the ball, and here's the ball-winning midfielder on defend. When the opponent gets the ball into the attacking midfield, it is very difficult to move the ball here as we have multiple defenders in the area. The ball-winning midfielder will get us possession back. On the other hand, this is us in attack, going to the left. And here's the ball-winning midfielder. In possession, you see that they are more reserved. They are not tracking to the ball, but instead holding their position in the midfield. Even as we get the ball forward, the roll won't get further forward than the attacking midfield area. I showed two different clips because that's how I've set up the tactic. We focus on defending first, and then we worry about our attacking phase. Because of this defensive focus, we've given up the least amount of goals in our division. For our other tactic example, we head to Argentina and River Plate. If the first tactic focused on defending and then slowly starting our attack, this one focuses on quickly transitioning between the two. A complementary player role for this playstyle is any of the playmakers, like the trequartista or advanced playmaker. The idea is that the ball-winning midfielder will win the ball higher up the field and quickly pass it to the playmaker. This is the opponent on the ball in our attacking midfield, and they're looking to start the counter. Here's my ball-winning midfielder, and this is my playmaker, the trequartista. These two are the perfect combo for each other because the midfielder is going to focus on gaining possession, and the playmaker, who is not focused on defending, will instead put his attention to finding a pocket of space to receive a pass. Like I said, the first tactic was focused on defending. This tactic is focused on scoring. I'm not worried about giving up goals, I just want to outscore everyone. This is played out in our stats, where we're mid-table in goals conceded, but we're first in the league in goals scored. In the next section, we'll stay with this River Plate tactic and focus on how the ball-winning midfielder plays in your attacking phase and how the playmaker fits into this. We start the possession with my no-nonsense fullback on the ball. Here's the ball-winning midfielder, and while he receives an early pass, this is his contribution in your attack. He'll be there if teammates need him, but they're not exactly searching him out with a pass. This is where a playmaker role fits in and complements the ball-winning midfielder. When my segundo volante gets the pass in the center circle and turns inward, he has two passing options: the ball-winning midfielder and the trequartista. This playmaker is what's known as a focus role, and that means if all things are equal, a teammate will look to pass to a playmaker over another player role. And this sequence is an example of that. My segundo volante will favor passing to the trequartista over the ball-winning midfielder, which is what we want. As the rest of the play goes, this was the right decision. In the next section, we're going to talk about something a little different to pay attention to when you're using this role. There are three player roles that I consider primarily focused on winning the ball back. The top three would be the pressing forward, the defensive winger, and obviously the ball-winning midfielder. And whenever you're in a save and you're looking to see if a player is good at something, you usually go to the data hub and look at stats and advanced metrics. But there's another useful thing you can scout before a match: the referee. In Football Manager, referees will have their own attributes and tendencies on how they will conduct a match, and you can take these things into account when you make your tactic. Selecting player roles that are more aggressive in a match with a referee that gives out a lot of cards can lead to your players being sent off. This is a match from my Queen's Park save that we tied 1-1. Between the two teams, 4 players got a yellow card, 1 player got a straight red, and we even got a penalty. So the referee was quick to the whistle, and it definitely had an impact on our match. From the schedule screen, you can click on any referee from your previous matches or upcoming match. Had I done my homework for that October 27th match, I would have noticed that the referee had given out 109 yellow cards in only 43 matches, so I could have adjusted some of my player roles to compensate. As another example, this is a match where we lost 3-0, and we had 4 players get a yellow card. 3 of those players were my ball-winning midfielder and my 2 pressing forwards, so their aggression led to yellow cards, which could lead to suspensions. So if you're looking for any edge you can get in a tactic, this is a good place to start. For example, our next match has this referee, Ewan Anderson. In 38 games, he's given out 7 red cards and only 61 yellow cards, which means this referee has given out about half the yellow cards compared to the other one we looked at. So I'd feel more comfortable using roles like the pressing forward or ball-winning midfielder with this referee. And now that we're done with our referee tangent, let's get back to the ball-winning midfielder. For our player example, we're going to look at Jack Thompson, who's the ball-winning midfielder for me at Queen's Park. He has exceptional tackling as well as good concentration, teamwork, and work rate. However, he does have low marking, aggression, and anticipation, meaning some of his attributes fit for the ball-winning midfielder and some don't. A common issue, especially as you move further away from the top divisions, is having players that are between player roles, so they're good at some stuff and not good at other stuff. If you still want to use the player role, what you can do is help your player and your team by making tactical adjustments. If we look back at the Queen's Park tactic, I do have a ball-winning midfielder as a solo defensive midfielder, but I've used a back 3 formation. So even if Thompson is out of position as a ball-winning midfielder, we still have 3 center backs on our defensive line providing cover. For player traits, the best one would be dives into tackles. Other good ones would be plays short simple passes or plays no through balls. Some not so good ones would be gets forward whenever possible, runs with ball through center, and gets into opposition area. As we wrap up the video, a reminder that I have a Patreon account if you would like to support the channel, and on that page is a free link to our Discord server where we're talking about Football Manager. Anyway, that is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.